We have several questions on our senators. We really must manage our time. We have 11 questions, and then to do within, this is 53 minutes. So Senator Manzo, I want you to start with the first question.
Yes, Mr. Speaker, this is
Just a minute, because you have several questions. I want to see where we are starting. Question number 015.
Yes. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, 015. A, could the Cabinet Secretary explain the circumstances surrounding the abduction and subsequent death of Mr. Emmanuel Mumo Divo, a resident of Lukenya Village, Masongalen Ward, Kibwezi East constituency, who was last seen alive on the night of 24th August 2025 in Nairobi? B, were the police at any point involved in the detention, custody, or handling of the late Mr. Ndivo between the time of his abduction and his eventual transfer to Nairobi City County Funeral Home? C, what official records or documentation exist regarding the circumstances under which the late Mr. Ndivo was found and taken to the mortuary, and why was his family not immediately informed by the relevant authorities? I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable CS, proceed and give your response.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Once again, I thank you, Mr. Speaker, for inviting me to come back to this august house to discuss these issues related to the security of our country. Considering the time given, and I do not pretend to advise the Speaker or the House, but Mr. Speaker, I have said this before, and allow me to repeat that it would be nice if you invite us with those many questions to just restrict it to one Cabinet Secretariat session, so that we do not rush all the questions at once, considering that how we schedule also our diaries is to take care of the serious business of the Senate. But be it as it may, I will abide by the calendar has been provided. Mr. Speaker, on question 15, I will go straight to the answers because I don't have the time to repeat the question on part 1, which is regarding the circumstances surrounding the abduction and subsequent death of Mr. Emmanuel Mumo Ndivo. Mr. Speaker, the government is not aware of the abduction of Emmanuel Mumo Ndivo. On the contrary, the government is aware that on August 27th of August 2025, Mr. Jackson Kioko Ndivo reported the disappearance of his brother, Mr. Emmanuel Mumo Ndivo, aged 33 years, at Kangemi Police Station, via OB number 1827/8 of 2025. He alleged that Emmanuel had gone missing since 24th of August 2025 at about 1800 hours. On August 29th, 2025, DCI Dagoretti commenced investigations into the matter. Call data records was requested from the mobile subscriber, and the report was subsequently delivered to the Nairobi Regional Crime Headquarters via reference number 3265 of 2025. Before the investigation could progress further, Jackson reported at the DCI Dagoretti office that the body of Emmanuel had been found lifeless at the Nairobi Funeral Home, admitted via number 1487 of 2025, allegedly having been involved in a fatal road traffic accident along Wayaki Way. Dagoretti Base Commander addressed the issue, and our preliminary investigations revealed that a report of a hit-and-run fatal road accident was filed at Kabete Police Station on August 25th, 2025, under OB number 25/24 of August 2025 at around 9:30 hours. It was reported that an unknown male body was lying in the middle of the road along Wayaki Way. Crime scene personnel visited and processed the scene, and upon examination, the body showed injuries consistent with the traffic accident. The body was removed to Nairobi Funeral Home by police officers from Kabete Police Station for preservation, pending identification and post-mortem. The base commander, Dakoreti, later on the same day circulated the same through a signal via Kabete Police Station OB number 2425/08 of 2025. On 9th September 2025, the Dakoreti base commander, through Corporal Mwanzia of Nairobi Funeral Morgue, supervised the post-mortem, which was conducted by Dr. Maingi, pathologist, and witnessed by brothers of the deceased, Mutua Ndivo, Francis Ndivo Kaesa, and Jackson Kioko Ndivo. The pathologist opined the cause of death as blunt head, chest, and abdominal organ injuries consistent with the road traffic accident. On whether the police were at any point involved in the detention, custody, or handling of the late Mr. Ndivo. Mr. Speaker, let me just say that at this point, it's becoming, there is a rampant behavior where even professionals at the level of lawyers and other educated Kenyans, when someone is arrested, they say he was abducted. Or when somebody is missing, they say he was abducted. Abduction is a technical legal term that denotes a particular action that has been done, not when someone is missing. When someone is missing, Mr. Speaker, there could be many reasons. Either he's hiding, or he has he's died, or he has been abducted, as may be the case. But to start a question by saying, answer the abduction of so-and-so is, Mr. Speaker, very erroneous. And it's becoming the norm now that anybody who is lost, or even when police arrest somebody, they say the police abducted. Police cannot abduct people when they are arresting them to take them to police station. Now, part B of the question on whether the police were at any point involved in the detention, custody, or handling of the late Mr. Ndivo. Honorable Speaker, from police records, there is no report indicating the abduction and detention of the late Emmanuel. However, there exists a report of a fatal road traffic accident. However, police officers from Kabete Police Station attended the scene of the accident and moved the body to a known person to Nairobi Funeral Home for preservation. The body was later identified by the family. Concerning the existence of records of documentation regarding the circumstance under which the late Ndivo was reportedly found and taken to the mortuary, and why his family was not immediately informed by the relevant authorities, Honorable Speaker, within the police custody, there exists records on 1. Hit-and-run traffic road accident report at Kabete Police Station. 2. Circulation of base commander Dakoreti through a signal via Kabete Police Station on the 25th 8 of 2025, OB number 2425/08225, 2025. Nairobi City County Funeral Home, mock admission of an unknown body under admission number 1487/2085. Report of a missing person made at Kangemi Police Station by 1 Jackson Kioko Ndivo on 27th of August 2025. According to police records, all necessary procedures relating to a hit-and-run fatal traffic accident were duly undertaken as outlined above. The family was not immediately informed since the incident involved an unidentified body from a hit-and-run case, necessitating the identification process, which was eventually conducted by the family. So, in other words, it was not possible for the police to inform the family because there were no records to show the family of the deceased. Number D, on measures put in place by the National Police Service to ensure accountability in case of alleged enforced disappearance and prevention of further incidents. Honorable Speaker, the government remains firmly committed to upholding the Constitution of Kenya and safeguarding the fundamental rights and freedoms of all citizens. The government refutes claims of enforced disappearance, which is not sanctioned activity of the state. Such acts are criminal in nature and perpetrated by individuals or organized criminal elements acting outside the law. To mitigate and respond to incidents of abduction and to enhance public safety, the following proactive measures have been employed. 1, a dedicated response team domiciled at the DCI headquarters was formed to swiftly handle cases of abduction. 2, the police conduct or alleged cases of abduction. 2, the police conduct investigation to all reported cases, ensuring prompt arraignment in court of law for those found culpable culpable to deter future criminal activities. 3, members of the public to be sensitized to share information within the police through Fichua kwa DCI toll-free number 08722003 and WhatsApp number 0709570000, ensuring confidentiality, reporting of crimes, and safety of the whistleblowers. 4, reactivating inactive community police committee to improve collaboration between the police and the community, fostering information and sharing, and early identification of security threats, strengthening both foot and mobile patrols to prevent crime while reinforcing police visibility in key areas such as residential neighborhoods, marketplaces, and transport hubs. Let me conclude by saying, Mr. Speaker, that unfortunately there are also rising cases of self-abduction or staged abduction, and it is embarrassing that it's done by leaders who serve in such high offices, including members of parliament, former ministers, and so forth and so forth. And this culture of self-abduction or staged abduction is negatively impacting serious cases of abduction or enforced disappearance or missing persons, because people are using abductions for political gain. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Manzo, do you have any supplementary question?
Yeah, Mr. Speaker, with your kind permission, because I've got 2 related questions, if I could kindly abandon the first
senators, we are really constrained by time.
If I could just go to the next one with your kind permission, Speaker.
And I will not take any question not related to the question, the primary question.
Yeah.
Senator Manzo?
Yeah, with your permission, let me proceed with the number 16.
Or you have no supplementary question?
No, I'm on the next
on
one.
015?
No, but to save time, to go to 016 because they are related.
But the other senators who need something to on the same question that you have asked.
Okay, much
okay. Senator Haji Abdul.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, as you're aware, police brutality has become a matter of growing national concern, particularly in marginalized areas where public confidence in law enforcement continues to erode. Mr. Speaker, yesterday there was a bit of an unrest in Garissa County. A young man, 24-year-old taxi driver Aden Mohammed, was arrested, handcuffed, and then shot by a police officer named Charles Kaui, who is a DCI driver based in Garissa Police Station. Mr. Speaker, sir, I would like the Minister, the CS, to inform this House on the status of the investigation, if any, that have taken place, because it's to my understanding, Charles Kaui, who is the DCI driver, who is alleged to have committed the shooting, is at large and on the run. Could the CS inform us if he has been arrested or his whereabouts has been detected? And the shooting happened at the checkpoint of Modika Barak Junction corridor. Could also the CS inform us on the need for so many checkpoints on that road, and whether, if those checkpoints are lawfully gazetted, and what action has been taken against any that are found to be illegal, irregular, or operating outside the law? Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable Senator, as you know, that's why I say let us really stick to the primary question. I don't know now whether the CS has a report on yesterday's occurrence, but Honorable CS, just try and see whether you can answer Senator Haji, then I will do another round. Yes, no problem. We are still there.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, actually, without overruling you, I need your attention, Mr. Speaker.
Speaker.
Yes, without overruling you, Mr. Speaker, the question number 15 and 16, in any way, without challenging your authority, the question number 15 and 16, to agree with Senator Manzo, is exactly the same. The next one is about missing persons, the 16. so that if there were going to be clarifications, it would have been good to combine 15 and 16 so that the clarifications related to missing persons can be the same, if, in my own opinion, so that any responses on that issue, because the question 16 has statistics of disappearance or missing persons and so forth. But let me just capture the issue of the Senator of Garissa. The question related to yesterday's unfortunate incident where a police officer, I think called Charles Nguni, was actually attacked and killed a civilian in a roadblock is unfortunate. The report I have now, Mr. Speaker, is that that particular police officer is on the run. The DCI officers within the county are chasing after him. We believe that he should be arrested any time from now. More importantly, IPOA has been invited to take the proper legal steps and being assisted by the officers from DCI. As soon as the suspect arrested, we will take him, working together with IPOA, he will be taken to court and the processes will follow. These cases, Mr. Speaker, of police brutality are taken very seriously by National Police Service, investigated. But I must say that as a ministry, we have been advocating for better budget for IPOA because they are grossly underfunded and making it difficult for them to carry out their responsibilities of oversighting and holding into account police officers who are found in such cases as the case in Garissa. I promised the Senator that I will be on this case, on the case of the IG, to ensure that there is accountability on the part of the National Police Service on this particular matter. I thank you.
Senator Mudigi.
Okay, asante Bwana Spika. Swali langu kwa waziri, tunaona ile kazi unafanya kazi ngumu na imeleta shida katika Kenya. Swali langu Bwana waziri, Embu County huko Mbere North pahali inaitwa ward inaitwa Evrore Ward, tarehe 14 mwezi hii watu wa huko walikuwa demonstrating juu ya shida ya hospitali, lakini kwa bahati mzuri ama bahati mbaya, wakiwa na unajua sheria inasema mtu anaweza kudemonstrate na uko na uhuru, kulitokea shinda kijana mmoja anaitwa Morris Njue Njoka, Patrick Karioki Munene, askari alitupa funduki akaua vijana wawili. Bwana waziri, kila wakati wote kukitokea mambo ya maandamano, askari wamekuwa na sinda hizi, na ninajua hakuna mtu anaweza kusema atienda ukandemonstrate alafu askari akuja uwe, hakuna kitu kama hiyo. Swali langu Bwana waziri.
Senator Mudigi, naomba ulize swali moja.
Swali langu Bwana waziri. Okay, asante Bwana Spika. Swali langu Bwana waziri, ni njia gani mpaka leo kwa hiyo masiku umechukua ndio watu wa Embu County wanjue ukweli wa huyu askari ameshikwa ama anjeshikwa, ama kuna njia yoyote unaweza kutumia kitendo kama hiki kitiwe inaweza kuonekana wakati mwingine kuwe na kila sub county ama county kuwe na watu wa kufunza askari, ndio kusiwe kunatokea mambo kama hii, mambo ya dialogue na mambo ya watu, kwa sababu askari wamekuwa akifanya vitu kama hii na inaleta shida katika nchi yetu ya Kenya na inaharibu jina ya serikali. Asante Bwana Spika.
Senator Nyutu, and please be precise to your question.
Yes, I will be, Mr. Speaker, and thank you for this opportunity. I just want to, before I ask my question, to notify the CS, that abductions are done by the police and not criminals. Criminals would ordinarily kidnap victims for monetary gain. So my question to the CS is, exactly, does it worry you, Honorable CS, when you find police officers in uniform, hooded, meaning they are hiding their faces, while arresting or doing whatever it is that they do, because they are always hooded. What is the place of hoods in the police force? Because, Mr. Speaker, a police officer, if they are doing things that are lawful, they should not be hooded. So my question is, why do officers continue operating while wearing hoods? Because that is when they perpetrate criminality. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Okech.
Mr. Speaker, I really need your attention on this, because it seems like the previous speaker who has just left the seat of the chair, Mr. Speaker, did not get what the CS said. Mr. Speaker, on this issue of abduction, the CS expressly said that there is an ongoing element of self-abduction. In his response, there is an ongoing element of self-abduction by senior members of this society, including some serious positions that have been in this country, Mr. Speaker, in the past. Now, Mr. Speaker, you know, this is a very important issue, Mr. Speaker. You know very well that this is House of Parliament. And as a serious issue as abductions that have been going on in the country, if there is an impairment of dealing with abduction because senior members of this society are doing self-abduction, and the CS comes to this house and expressly says so, he must substantiate, Mr. Speaker. He must give us fact of who are these senior members of the society that in his tone and texture he has indicated. Can he give us the name of these people who are doing self-abductions and making it difficult to deal with the issue of self-abduction in the country, Mr. Speaker? This is a House of Parliament. We cannot just let it go as if it was just a bypassing statement.
Thank you,
otherwise
Senator.
it becomes an impairment to justice.
Thank you for your question. Senator Veronica.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I wanted, first of all, to seek that same clarification on the abduction, because I was of the view that Senator John Nyoto is misleading after the CS has confirmed that the term abduction is specific and technical and has defined what abduction entails, and that when a Kenyan is being arrested, is not being abducted. If they are being arrested by police, it's not an abduction. But since Senator Eddie has raised it, I will not repeat it. I'll ask Honorable CS to explain to us, or to just give us information on what his office is doing regarding Kenyans who are tricked into accepting jobs in Russia, and it turned out they were being taken to the battlefront between Ukraine and Russia, and among those was James Mushoki Mwangi, whom the family cannot trace and has no connection with.
Senator Veronica,
yes,
you're going way out of line. You should stick to the primary question. So, CS, please answer the supplementary questions, and then we'll go to the main questions.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. A number of questions have been asked, but let me start by saying that the question of by Senator Mundiki on the police brutality in Everori in the Mbeere North, I must say that that was an unfortunate situation. Investigations are ongoing to establish exactly why. If Kenyans were having peaceful protests, how come and how did it end at a police station? And because we were told the protest was about health facilities, but instead the protesters apparently charged at the police officers within the police station. That is alleged. So investigation to establish whether the protest was peaceful, whether it targeted police station, and whether the police officers who used their firearm, and which eventually killed two young people, or two people, Mr. Speaker, whether it was a legitimate use of force or it was a misuse of firearm. Number two is that that investigation, to facilitate proper investigation, the Inspector General of Police, following the required procedures, has suspended those 2 officers. They are not in office as we speak, to allow proper investigations. Investigations also to ensure that the investigations are free, fair, and accountable. The Independent Police Oversight Authority, IPOA, is seized of the matter, and they are carrying out the investigations. And I repeat my earlier statement that we are working hard to facilitate process of empowering the IPOA so that they can have enough resources and investigators to carry out investigation expeditiously. Ballistic analysis is ongoing, forensic analysis of the information that will enable us to deal with this issue with finality. I condole with the families of the 2 men who are killed, and pray that they may find justice. And I promise, as a Cabinet Secretary in this department, that we'll do everything to facilitate processes of accountability within the police service. The Senator Nyutu, I hasten to say that police officers are not in office to abduct people. Anybody who carries an abduction is a criminal. It doesn't matter whether he's a serving police officer or is in office or is a civilian or any other person. Any abductions that are done or enforced disappearance are illegal. Police officers are only allowed to arrest a citizen and produce them in court within 24 hours. Anything beyond 24 hours, again, is illegal because it's a violation of the Constitution. The Constitution requires that if you must hold a citizen beyond the 24 hours, it must be with the consent of the court. And so 24 hours is mandatory, and that is the right. Anything beyond that is unconstitutional. The hooding of police officers' uniform, includes hoods, are used in certain circumstances for operational reasons, especially when you need to protect the identity of the police officers when carrying out dangerous operations that deals with people like terrorists, sometimes bandits, sometimes gangs. Gangs are very targeting of police officers. And I am glad that the Senator appreciates that sometimes those gangs and criminals may be within demos or in public space or any places that can be, and the police officers are rightly to protect themselves and protect their identity so that they are not targeted by dangerous criminals after carrying out the responsibilities they do. But by law, once they do so, they arrest the person and they must produce them in court. You need to know that our police officers operating in serious areas like the border of Kenya and Somalia face dangers every day. And if you were to force them to be seen, or those who are operating in areas infested with bandits are always facing dangerous criminals who are ready to revenge. And hooding and protecting our police officers is the responsibility of the National Police Service to provide the necessary uniform. On the question of Senator Okech, in terms of self-abductions, I don't think Senator Okech has just come from Mass. He's not a stranger in Jerusalem. He was in town when the Honorable Koimburi abducted himself, and then there was a man, and the impeached deputy president went to the hospital, and then he was even lying to Kenyans that Koimburi cannot speak. He was given chemicals and so forth. I am glad that the alleged victim then, Honorable Koimburi, has now laid bare that this was an act of drama, Mr. Speaker, that was only meant to win Kenyans. And up to now, the impeached deputy president has never apologized to the people of Kenya. He continues his lies. He progresses. So he's looking for another drama to try to paint the government National Police Service in bad light. Mr. Speaker, the same happened to Honorable Tuju the other day. self-abducted, ran around. Only, Mr. Speaker, to be found, he was in his bedroom, relaxing and sleeping there. The former deputy president, the former vice president, who was leading the charge to paint the government negatively, up to now has not apologized, despite the fact that Honorable Kalonzo Musyoka is my personal friend. I found that was a very embarrassing situation he found himself in, being part and parcel of a script, Mr. Speaker, that is painting self-abductions. The last case, Mr. Speaker, involved a young man called Ndiagui Kinyanjui, who actually forced the DCI to be dragged to a police station, to the court. And I think it was Justice Muita, now a Court of Appeal judge, who really berated the DCI and, banged the tables. But, Mr. Speaker, when it was found finally that Ndiagui was just having his kideri, relaxing in his house, up to now, Justice Muita has never apologized to the Inspector General of Police, the DCI, or the people of Kenya. So, Mr. Speaker, these three cases, among others, paint a very bad picture, because all of these three gentlemen I've mentioned are role models and leaders of their own right, but they are painting a very bad picture of the National Police Service, but also they are, Mr. Speaker, embarrassing and making fun of serious cases of disappearance, abductions, enforced disappearance, and the victims and the families feel really very sad that some people are acting skits and so forth on this particular issue. So, Mr. Speaker, I thank you.
Thank you, Cabinet Secretary. Senators, with your indulgence, because of time, we have several questions which have not been asked. What I propose we do is to have the questions asked, the CS to reply, and then we take supplementary questions thereafter. Senator Mazayo. You will ask. We'll ask all the questions. Senator Mazayo.
Yes. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, my question is to the CS. Interior and National Administration, or Interior Security, as follows. First, maybe I want to say that the minister is, I know he's a hardworking minister, but of recent, I think he has received very bad publicity on...
Senator Minority Leader, you have a question, go straight to the question.
Yes, but I have to introduce what I wanted to
There is no introducing the question, Senator.
Thank you for your guidance. I want to ask, number one, is what has the ministry, what is the ministry's current strategy for maritime security, and how is Kilifi County classified within the National Maritime Risk Framework? Number two, why has Kilifi County, despite its long coastline and strategic position, not been prioritized in the deployment of Kenya Coast Guard services? C, could the Cabinet Secretary provide a report on the status, capacity, and distribution of Coast Guard assets along Kenya's coastline, and clarify the criteria used in their allocation? And finally, what immediate and long-term measures is the ministry putting in place to current equitable deployment maritime security infrastructure and personnel across the coastal countries?
Thank you. CS, let's take all the questions, then you'll reply. Senator Manzo.
Yes, Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Question number 16. A, could the Cabinet Secretary provide a data on the number of individuals that have reported missing since 2022, indicating those that have been found alive or dead, and the number still unaccounted for? B, have the police or other security agencies established who was involved in the disappearances, and if so, could the Cabinet Secretary provide details on the actions that have been taken to bring the individuals to book? C, what measures is the government implementing to address the increasing cases of abductions in the country, and to specifically ensure accountability in respect of enforced disappearances? Mr. Speaker, D, could the Cabinet Secretary provide details on the physiological and other support mechanisms, psychological and other support mechanisms available to abduction victims, and indicate whether financial compensation has been provided to any victims or their families? Mr. Speaker, I had one final one. If you allow me, I can read through.
Senator, because of time, we can't. Senator Ugenda, Senior Counsel, Professor, ask your question.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, my question is addressed to CS Interior. Number one, could the Cabinet Secretary explain the circumstances under which police officers were deployed to a Team Anglican Church in Othaya, Nyeri County on 25th January 2026 and disclose the identities of the persons who authorized and commanded the operation? Two, what steps did the authorizing and commanding officers take to ensure the deployment and conduct of officers on the scene as consistent with the national, and whether it was consistent with the National Police Service Act? Three, are there internal controls or supervisory review mechanisms that are triggered prior to the deployment of the officers to sensitive civilian settings such as the place of worship? And if so, could the CS indicate whether they were triggered in this case? And lastly, what measures have been put in place to ensure that similar deployments in future are properly approved, documented, and supervised in a manner consistent with professionalism, discipline, and neutrality of the National Police Service? Thank you.
Senator Hamida.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My questions are, Bwana Waziri, could you kindly provide a status update on the investigation into the murder of Advocate Kyalo Mbobu, who was shot dead on Tuesday, 9th September 2025, including whether any suspects have been apprehended or questioned? B, what challenges have investigators faced in resolving the case, especially in regard to the closed circuit television, CCTV footage, and other forensic evidence? C, could the Cabinet Secretary outline the steps taken since the murder of the advocate to ensure continuous functionality and rapid access by security agencies to public CCTV footage as a deterrence and investigative tool, and provide details on the current extent of public CCTV surveillance coverage in Nairobi and other major urban centers? D, what measures has the ministry put in place to strengthen community-based intelligence, anonymous reporting channels, and witness protection to improve detection and disruption of violent criminal networks perpetrating targeted killings? And finally, Waziri also outlined the broader security and criminal justice reforms being implemented to address the rising concerns over targeted killings, general insecurity, and lack of swift justice in high-profile murder cases. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Mofire. Give him the mic.
Thank you. Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I could get to know from the minister when will the government establish additional evidence-disputed national identification, country registration, and collection centers across Tharaka County and other counties where residents have to travel long distances to access these services. Number two, Honorable Speaker, Would the government also consider deploying mobile registration and collection systems to address the accessibility challenges faced by youth seeking the services in the affected counties? Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Senators. Honorable Senators, we are going to defer question number 18, question number 20, question number 21, and question number 30, and allow the CS to reply to the questions that have already been asked. Cabinet Secretary.
If you may, Mr. Speaker, I will, if you allow me, I'll do it chronologically so that I start with question number 11 and then it flows. On the first question related to Witima Anglican Church, that is question number 11, Mr. Speaker, asked by Senator Ojenda. For part 1, Mr. Speaker, concerning the circumstances under which police officers were deployed and the identities of those who authorized and commanded the operation. Mr. Speaker, on 25th of January 2026, it was reported at Witima Police Station that unknown individuals lobbed tear gas canisters inside Witima SK St. Peter's Church during service that was attended by, among others, the former impeached Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua. It was further reported that the attackers were dressed in civilian attire, had concealed their identities, and were operating motor vehicles believed to be associated with the police service. The individuals caused extensive damage to motor vehicles that had been parked within the church compound. Following the report, the Nyeri County Security Team visited the scene for inspection and processing. Inquiry file number 1 of 2026 was opened by the Directorate of Criminal Investigation, Nyeri South, to investigate the circumstances surrounding the incident. Subsequently, the Inspector General of Police directed the Internal Affairs Unit to take over investigations in order to ensure an independent and impartial inquiry, particularly in light of the allegations suggesting possible involvement of police officers. The Internal Affairs Unit has since submitted a preliminary report indicating, among others, the findings that the church leadership confirmed that they were not informed in advance of the visit by Mr. Rigathi and his entourage, and neither the police nor other government authorities were notified of the planned visit. 2, the attack appeared to be linked to local political rivalries, which may have influenced its coordination and execution. 3, when local police officers attempted to respond to the incident, they were blocked and confronted by members of public who accused them of complicity. Investigations are ongoing to identify and apprehend the perpetrators, and the matter is pending under investigations. But Part B, Mr. Speaker, steps taken by police commanders to ensure deployment and conduct were consistent with constitutional national police service standards. Honorable Speaker, following the incident, an internal inquiry established that no formal request for police security had been submitted by the church in respect of the service. Additionally, the officers commanding police station Witima had not received a prior notification of the event and was unaware of any high-profile guest, high-profile guests would be in attendance. As a result, there was no sanctioned police deployment for the event, and the officers who responded did so after the incident had already been reported in line with their statutory duty to maintain law and order. Number 3, Part 3, internal controls and supervisory review mechanisms governing police deployment to sensitive civilian settings. The deployment of police officers to provide security in public functions, including events held in places of worship, is governed by the Public Order Act, which outlined procedures for notifying the police of a planned public gatherings. The law requires any person or organization intending to convene a public meeting, procession, or event that may require security arrangement to notify the officer commanding the nearest police station at least 3 days and not more than 14 days prior to the event. Upon receiving such notification, the OCS assesses the anticipated size, risk level, and logistical consideration of the event. Where the available personnel are deemed insufficient, the matter is escalated through the chain of command for authorization of additional officers. An operation order is then issued to guide the deployment and conduct of officers in accordance with the Constitution and the National Police Act 2011. In the case of Witima Church incident, these internal control mechanisms were not activated because the police were not notified in advance of the visit of the former Deputy President and his entourage. Number D, regarding measures put in place to ensure the future deployments are properly approved, documented, and supervised, Honorable Speaker, notwithstanding the statutory requirements for prior notification, police commanders have been directed to enhance situational awareness within their jurisdiction by proactively monitoring scheduled events, including social and religious gatherings that may not ordinarily trigger formal notification requirement. This directive is intended to enable commanders to take timely risk assessment and, where necessary, put in place appropriate preventive security measures to forestall potential breaches of peace, particularly where high-profile individuals may be in attendance. Honorable Speaker, the government remains committed to upholding the professionalism, neutrality, and constitutional mandate of the National Police Service. Any officer found to have acted outside the law or established procedures will be subjected to appropriate disciplinary and legal action upon conclusion of the ongoing investigations. Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I will go to the, I don't know if you had number 12. Yes. Yes, sorry. On number 12, regarding the murder of, as I've said before, my former teacher, Advocate Charlo Mbomu, I'd like to respond as follows, Mr. Speaker, and this is issue I'm responding for a second time. The status update on the investigation in the recent murder of Advocate Charlo Mbomu. Honorable Speaker, on 9th of September 2025, at about 1740 hours, Mr. Matthew Charlo Mbomu, an advocate, was driving along Magadi Road on his way home from work when he was accosted near Brookhouse International School by two unknown assailants on a motorcycle, one of whom was armed with pistol. Owing to heavy traffic caused by ongoing construction and diversions along the road, he was driving at a slow speed before he was fatally shot 8 times. The incident was reported in Langata Police Station and later taken over by Directorate of Homicide on 11th of September 2025. The scene was processed and 4 spent cartridges were recovered. The vehicle was towed to the Homicide Investigation Bureau yard for documentation, while the body was removed to Lee Funeral Home for post-mortem examination, which was conducted on 11th of September 2025. The Chief Government Pathologist, Dr. Johansen Odwar, in the presence of family pathologists, opined the cause of death as multiple injuries due to gunshot wounds. 2 bullets heads were recovered from the deceased body, and together with the spent cartridges were submitted to DCI Forensic Laboratory for ballistic analysis. CCTV footage from the Segret Hotel townhouse where the deceased office was located and Brookhouse International School was retrieved for analysis by investigators to provide actionable leads. Several witnesses, including staff members from Charlo Mbomu, Charlo and associate advocates, have been interviewed and their statement recorded. Investigations led to the arrest of 3 individuals who had interacted with the deceased on the material day at Segret Hotel. During the arrest, 2 of them were found to be licensed firearm holders, and their firearms were recovered and subjected to ballistic analysis. Results excluded the firearms from involvement in the shooting. Further, no evidentiary link was found connecting the 3 individuals to the fatal shooting. On 16th of September 2025, investigators traced an eyewitness, Mr. Collins Amudavi, a construction worker at the bridge site near the scene. He confirmed observing a motorcycle rider waiting with the engine running near the diversion point shortly before hearing gunshots. He described the shooter as a person who was wearing a black face mask, gloves, hooded top, reflector jacket, and sweatpants. The shooter fled on the waiting motorcycle at high speed towards Galleria Mall. CCTV footage from the Brookhouse International School corroborated the presence of the motorcycle trailing the deceased vehicle. However, identification of the assailants was hindered by the use of helmets and face coverings, and the registration number plate was not clearly captured. Multiple investigation angles have been exhaustively pursued, including a gold and alleged German antiques transaction, a Korat African land transaction, a Mavoko land parcel dispute that he was handling, a professional petition or any possibility of professional petition or legal threats, which we never, no link was been found. Ballistic link analysis also indicates that the 5 spent cartridges and 2 bullet heads were subjected to forensic comparison. The ballistic report indicated that the cartridges were fired from a Seska pistol CZ85B model or similar firearm. However, no match was established with any firearm recovered during investigations. The murder weapon remains unidentified. Allegation by Captain Kungu Muigai. Following social media allegations by Captain Samuel Kungu Muigai claiming knowledge of the perpetrators, he was summoned and interrogated. He alleged the existence of a sealed affidavit and audio recording relating to a case involving judicial corruption. Such as were conducted at the deceased office and resident safes in the presence of family and legal representatives. No such envelope or recording were recovered. The claim remained unsubstantiated. Given the complexity of the matter and the multiplicity of the investigative angles pursued, the case remains pending investigations. On the challenges the investigation faced in resolving the case, Honorable Speaker, the last functional HD CCTV site before leaving Nairobi city boundary is located near Langata Road, Makadi Road Junction. Beyond this point, the CCTV camera installed along Magadi Road is inactive and therefore not operational at the time of the incident. It is important to note that the most CCTV cameras within Nairobi CBD and along the route taken by the deceased were non-functional, compelling the investigating team to rely on footage retrieved from private premises, including Sacred Hotel, the deceased office, block, townhouse, and Brook House International School. Nonetheless, the DCI is not relying solely on the CCTV footage, but continues to pursue other investigative avenues to generate credible leads. Regarding the steps being taken since the murder of the advocate, Honorable Speaker, the National CCTV Integrated Command, Control and Communication System currently provides extensive surveillance coverage in Nairobi and Mombasa. This system comprises approximately 1,899 surveillance cameras and 281 NPR cameras deployed across 664 sites nationwide, with Nairobi hosting the largest concentration. Coverage includes Nairobi CBD and key arteries such as Thika Superhighway, Mombasa Road, Jogoo Road, Ngong Road, Wayaki Road, as well as critical installations including airports, government buildings, and major intersections. The IC3 surveillance infrastructure is fully integrated into the operational framework of security agencies, providing them with direct real-time access to CCTV feeds, archived footage, and advanced analytic tools to support investigations and enhance safety. However, the continued accessibility of these systems remain dependent on leased network infrastructure and collocated data centers, underscoring the need for long-term migration to government-owned network to guarantee uninterrupted access and operational independence. While some of these cameras remain operational and critical to policing and investigation, the overall effectiveness of the system is constrained by damage, dependence on leased fiber infrastructure, and inactive sites. The existing CCTV and ANPR systems have been in operation for over 8 years. The natural expiry of their product life cycle, both hardware components such as servers, storage, and network devices, and software have reached end life and can no longer sustain reliable operation. In areas where public CCTV cameras are non-functional, the National Police Service supplements surveillance efforts through partnership with private entities including hotels, schools, and office blocks, which provide CCTV footage upon request to support ongoing investigation and security operations. A proposal to expand CCTV coverage to additional major towns is underway. The government is working to restore all non-operational cameras and extend surveillance coverage beyond Nairobi and Mombasa. The next question is regarding measures put in place by Ministry to strengthen community-based intelligence. Honorable Speaker, the government is revitalizing community policing, establishing dedicated online like Fichuok or DCI, embracing community engagement on security matters, including the now established Jukwaa la Usalama, which has proven highly effective in fostering trust and cooperation. Building on the positive impact of these forums, commanders have been encouraged to, in liaison with the local administrators, to replicate similar barazas with wananchi from time to time, to provide platforms for sensitization on relevant laws, conservation efforts, peaceful conflict resolution, crime prevention, thereby strengthening community policing and enhancing public participation in security matters. So Jukwaa la Usalama is not an event, Mr. Speaker. I see many people are struggling to understand what it is. It's not an event, it's a concept that is applied in the security management from when we established last year onwards, and it's an ongoing process. And I encourage senators to participate in Usalama forums in their own counties and to organize others with their county security and sub-county security teams, because this is the only way we can be able to sort out security challenges in our locality. On the broader security and criminal justice reforms being implemented, Mr. Speaker, allow me to say them in bullet forms so that then, because the detailed statement has been provided, we are, Mr. Speaker, first of all, let me say that there is ongoing operational modernization, especially on the technology side. We are in another promise, maybe a month at most, we shall have completed procurement processes of establishing a massive technology application in the police sector. That will include digital OB, Mr. Speaker. It will include CCTV cameras in 7 towns in Kenya. That includes Nairobi, Mombasa, Nakuru, Kisumu, Eldoret, Nyeri, and Meru. It will also include the 7 command centers. It will also input computation, Mr. Speaker, so that the IC3 will be upgraded to be IC4, which will be communication, command, control, and computation, so that data analytics, including AI, will be used to analyze matters of crime. Mr. Speaker, this also will include CCTV cameras in every police station across the country, including ICT equipment in all the police stations, and also tablets that will be given to administrators, including chiefs, to make sure that they do their job better. These were some of the key proposals of Jukwaa la Usalama, and we are now implementing them, including a system of reporting, a technological system of reporting. Mr. Speaker, on mobility and deployment, we have also, pursuant to the Jukwaa la Usalama proposal, we are ensuring that police officers cannot serve in one place for more than 3 years. The system is being put in place to ensure that there is mobility and rotation, so that police officers do not become complicit and become familiar and complicit in the areas they serve. On oversight and accountability, both IPOA provides the oversight and external checks over the police, but also we have internal affairs unit that does internal checks within the police, and also there is the work of the Kenya National Commission of Human Rights and general civil society that are monitoring the works of the police. We are also training our officers now on human rights. We are on human rights and change of culture and behavior. This is a curriculum that is being emphasized, especially with the 10,000 police officers that are undergoing training now. The next question, Mr. Speaker, is number 16.
Number 16. And CS, I would urge that you peruse very fast, because we already have the answers circulated.
Thank you.
Honorable Senators, we are going to extend the seating to 1:15, so that we can give a chance to the CS to conclude. Thank you, CS.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. On the question of number 16, I'll go straight regarding missing persons in the country. Part 1, regarding the data on number of individuals reported missing since 2022. We have provided the data there, Mr. Speaker. You will see in 2022, there were 153 missing persons, 2023, 128, 2024, 159, and 2025, 131. And to help Senator Manzo to have a proper comparative analysis, we have provided that for 2016, which was 154, 2017 it was 148, 2018 it was 165, 2019 145, 2020 was 168, and 2021 was the highest in terms of missing persons, 2019, which were 219. From 2021 down, from 2022, there has been downward de-escalation, including last year, the missing persons were the lowest in the last 10 years, which was only 131 persons. On whether the police established persons involved in the disappearance, the National Police Service, through Directorate of Criminal Investigation, actively investigated all reported cases of abductions and disappearance, or alleged abductions. These investigations have led to arrests in several instances, with suspects arraigned before courts of law. Some cases are at advanced stage in court, others remain under active investigations, while a number have been concluded as indicated in the table above. However, investigations have faced certain challenges. In some instances, individuals who resurfaced after alleged abductions declined to record statements. Mr. Speaker, thereby limiting the ability of investigations to conclusively determine the circumstances of their disappearance. Further, there are cases where it was established that individuals had voluntarily gone into hiding for personal reasons and not abducted. Concerning measures implemented by the government, Honorable Speaker, the government has implemented various measures, and I want to say that there is a specialized abduction unit within the DCI now. There is an enhanced mechanism of reporting through Fichua kwa DCI, strengthened investigation and prosecution, revitalized of community policing. All that, the details in the report. Regarding details of the psychological and other support mechanism available on abducted victims, Mr. Speaker, our victims and their families are guided on how to access psychosocial support services, including counseling and trauma care, through relevant government institutions and partner organizations to help them cope with psychological and emotional impacts of such incidents. In addition, the government ensures that affected families are kept informed of the progress of investigation as part of its commitment to transparency and victim support. However, the ministry does not currently operate a dedicated financial compensation scheme for victims of abduction or their families. Notwithstanding this, affected families may pursue compensation through existing legal and institutional framework. The last question, Mr. Speaker, is number 23 for today, which is
22 and then 23.
Okay, both 22 and 23. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Identification card registration collection centers across Tharaka Nithi County. Part 1 on the establishment of additional this is the question of Senator Mwenda of Tharaka Nithi, and on the establishment of additional evenly distributed national identification card registration collector centers in Tharaka Nithi by the government. Honorable Speaker, the National Registration Bureau has operationalized national identity card registration centers in all 10 sub-counties in Tharaka Nithi County: Kamang'ombe, Tharaka West, Chuka North, Tharaka South, Mukodhima, Mara, Mudhambi, Tharaka North, Chiakanga, and Chuka South. In addition, residents can access services in 17 divisional centers across the county, as well as 4 Huduma centers in Kadwana, Chuka, Marimanti, and Mara, where National Registration Bureau has established registration centers. At the national level, NRB has established 934 registration centers from regional to divisional level, ensuring broad coverage and inclusivity. This extensive network ensures that registration services are accessible to all Kenyans, supporting inclusive and socio-economic development. The ministry continues to operationalize newly created administrative units, which plans to incorporate NRB and civil registration officers into the designs of upcoming DCC and SEC officers, which will further expand registration services to all divisions. Mr. Speaker, just allow me 1 minute to emphasize one thing. One, because I've seen some propaganda out there about identity cards. All the identity cards that have all the people who have picked the identity cards, we have printed all the identity cards except 58,000. And those 58,000 will be printed before Friday. And will be sent to all centers across the country. There are no pending printing of ID cards in the country except the 58,000. And at the rate at which we print ID cards, by Friday will be done. That shows the highest level of efficiency since independence in terms of printing of ID cards. Number 2, Mr. Speaker, the region where Senator Mwenda comes from, Mofire, my friend, has the highest number of centers of registration in the Republic, led by counties like Kiambu, Nyeri, Kirinyaga, Embu, the entire part of central region, and the 3 counties in the eastern region. In fact, those plus Nairobi and a few counties like Uasin Gishu, maybe Kericho, Kisumu. Those are the counties we can say they have the highest numbers of registration centers in the Republic. There is no reason why a Kenyan should not have an ID in any part of Central Province, Nairobi, parts of Central Rift, the most marginalized areas historically, and I must say this, Mr. Speaker, is the coast region, the northeastern region, the North Rift parts of West Pokot, Turkana, Baringo, Samburu, the upper eastern of Isiolo, Marsabit, and Mr. Speaker, the other parts of the country like Busia, the border there. Those are areas they can complain about ID cards. For the information of all the propagandists, these areas that you are purportedly saying they don't have IDs, there is absolutely no reason. If there is a reason why someone doesn't have an ID, it is personal reasons, because the access to services. But a person in Wajir, even when we have taken the registration center to a constituency, is still comparative to other parts of the country, Central Rift, Central Region, and so forth. That person is still traveling compared to that more than 3 counties in one constituency. And so the people who should be complaining about access of IDs is not somebody who is in Nairobi and its environs. It is the people who are in the far-flung areas, whom now are being accused of being assisted by the government, and yet we haven't even operationalized more administrative units for them to get IDs. This issue, and I must caution us as political leaders, let us not take our tribal bigotry to the level of hating parts of the country, people to get services. People need ID to access SHA and other basic services. I would understand if someone complains in Kilifi, but somebody who will complain in Nairobi here or Eldoret or Nakuru or Kericho is actually unacceptable. Those people should be able to go and get their IDs. We have enough centers across the country. On deployment of mobile registration, I must say, Mr. Speaker, that recognize that access to identification documents is a fundamental right. The ministry has undertaken several mobile registration initiatives to address accessibility challenges, including, Mr. Speaker, during our Jukwaa Usalama engagement, during these forums, NRB conducted mobile registrations in all the countries where we went using live capture technology, reducing turnaround time for national ID issuance from 30 days to 7 days. School-based registration in partnership with Ministry of Education, NRB registered over 33,000 eligible students aged 18 during the second and third school terms. This program will continue in these years across the country. Usajili Mashinani, our ministry launched in Usajili Mashinani in October 2025. This mobile registration initiative targets marginalized and ASAL counties, bringing services closer to communities with poor infrastructure. Expansion of the program is ongoing to ensure equitable access. At the moment, this team is in Marsabit and Isiolo, and hopefully they will go to the 3 counties of Northeastern next week. These mobile registration exercises have significantly improved access to national identity cards and related essential services, reinforcing the government commitment to inclusivity and citizen-centered delivery. Last, Mr. Speaker, which is 23, a question of Senate Minority Leader, Senator Matsayo. I wish to state as follows. Regarding the ministry current strategy of maritime security, Honorable Speaker, maritime security remains a key national priority due to its critical role in supporting Kenya's economy, safeguarding national security, promoting the blue economy, and ensuring regional stability. Kenya's coastline border major international shipping routes and the port of Mombasa handles a significant proportion of the country's international trade, including transit cargo for neighboring and land-linked countries. The ministry, through the Kenya Coast Guard Service, has adopted multifaceted strategy to enhance maritime security, including enhanced maritime surveillance, community engagement and initiatives, including Usalama Baharini, which is part of this concept of engaging the stakeholders. 3, interagency coordination, a joint operational framework by KDF, police, and so forth. Regional and international cooperation, including joint patrols and intelligence sharing with neighboring countries. With the National Maritime Risk Framework, Kilifi County is classified as medium risk area. While it's not a high threat zone, factors such as high small vessel activity, numerous landing sites, and its proximity to areas previously affected by cross-border security concerns necessitate sustained monitoring and security presence. On the reasons why Kilifi County, despite its long coastline and strategic position, has not been prioritized for deployment of Coast Guard, Mr. Speaker, the Kenya Coast Guard Service already maintains an operational presence in Kilifi County, specifically in Ngomeni Station, which supports maritime security operations within the area. This presence is reinforced by operational support from Mombasa Station and offshore patrol capabilities. The ministry has plans to expand this presence through the establishment of additional stations in Mayungu and Kilifi Town. However, implementation has faced challenges, including limited availability of suitable public land, high cost of acquiring private land, and budgetary constraints affecting infrastructure development. Despite these challenges, Kilifi remains a strategically important area, and efforts to enhance the deployment of the county are ongoing. Regarding the status report on capacity and distribution of Kenya Coast Guard's assets, the Kenya Coast Guard maintains a strategic operational footprint along Kenya coastline, anchored by stations in key locations and supported by patrol vessels and surveillance systems. Plans are underway to expand coverage through additional stations and improve the infrastructure, subject to the availability of resources. The allocation of assets and personnel is guided by the following criteria: operational necessity, strategic positioning, resource optimization, stakeholder engagement, ensuring there is a coordination with the local community. On immediate and long-term measures that the ministry is putting in place to ensure equitable deployment of maritime security infrastructure personnel across the coastal counties, Honorable Speaker, the ministry ensures equitable deployment of maritime security infrastructure and personnel through the application of need-based, risk-informed allocation framework. As earlier indicated, the deployment of assets and personnel by the Kenya Coast Guard Service is guided by operational necessity, strategic positioning, resource optimization, and stakeholder engagement. These criteria are applied uniformly across coastal counties to ensure that no region is disadvantaged, while at the same time prioritizing areas with higher security risks and operational demands. In addition, ongoing engagement with the National Treasury is aimed at securing necessary resources for recruitment and deployment of personnel to ensure balanced coverage along the entire coastline. These measures are designed to guarantee that maritime security are distributed, security services are distributed fairly while remaining responsive to evolving security needs. These interventions are aimed at strengthening maritime governance, enhancing national security, and ensuring that all coastal counties benefit equitably from maritime security infrastructure and services. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Cabinet Secretary, there is one question. I don't know if you have it in your list. Number 52, asked by Senator Hamida. It was answered. My apologies, Senator. I think we deferred it. Cabinet Secretary, I'm still calling you Senator, but that's okay. I think that question was deferred. We will go to supplementary questions. Senator, could I ask the senators who've asked the questions to give an opportunity to the senators who've not asked a question so that they can ask? Maybe it's a they will ask a supplementary based on your question. If we can give them an opportunity because they have not spoken. Senator Kisang.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, mine is quick, is to thank the CS because I attended the Chukua La Usalama in Elgeyo Marakwet County and it bear fruits. Now we have peace in Elgeyo Marakwet County. My supplementary question is, what plans does the CS have to prefer charges against those who self-abducted themselves, but in the process, actually, we have come to discover they were doing self-enjoyment?
Senator Miraj.
Speaker, asante, niweze kumpongeza waziri kwa kutimiza nusu ya zile ahadi aliweka wakati alikuja katika jukwaa wazi pale Mombasa. Na pia ni muombe katika swali langu, kuna mikakati gani kuona ya kwamba kando na kuwa tunapeana na kusajili vitambulisho katika shule zetu, tunawezaje pia kusajili birth certificate, kwa sababu watoto wingi hususan wale wanaotokea maeneo ya Likoni wanakosa ile huduma ya capitation kutoka kwa serikali kwa sababu hawatambuliki na serikali. Naomba kwa unyenyekevu uweze kutupatia mwelekeo. Asante.
Senator Veronica.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, for the chance. I will ask this question as a supplementary to the missing persons records that have been called forth by Senator Manzo. To Honorable CS, there are Kenyans who were tricked to go to war in Russia, and they eventually found themselves at the battlefront between Russia and Ukraine. And there is one gentleman, James Mushoki Mwangi, from Kegumo constituency, I believe Muthithi, who the family has lost contact with. What are you doing to ensure that such Kenyans are restored back to their families? And do you have any plan to ensure their safety while they are out there and their protection by the government that they are serving under?
Honorable Senators, we have 3 minutes. If you allow, let's give an opportunity to the CS to answer those 3 questions. And if we still have time, we'll take one more question. We don't have time, Senator Nyuto. Senator Nyuto, you did even ask a question previously. So I was giving an opportunity. You are right, but she's a speaker. She's a speaker. She's a speaker. So, Senator Lelengo, let's allow the CS to answer. CS, let's... Okay, very quickly. And then you two very quickly. Very quickly, we don't have time.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. On registration of new IDs, we commend the government for extending mobile ID registrations to sub-locations, particularly in Samburu County. However, the turnout has been overwhelmingly high, with many citizens unable to register and officers
ask the question
work beyond official hours. Could the Cabinet Secretary consider extending the registration
Thank you, Senator.
period in Samburu and other marginalized areas?
Thank you, Senator. Senator Nyuto, very quickly.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. It's unfortunate we cannot raise a standing order, against CS. But Mr. Speaker, we must tell the CS that I was there with Rigathi Gachagua at Karen Hospital.
Do you have a question?
We were given...
Do you have a question?
Yes, and we were given a brief by the doctor. So, Mr. Speaker, it's not...
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Speaker. On the question of Senator Kisang, Senator Kisang has asked the question of why we have not charged these people. As you know, Mr. Speaker, former Minister Tuju was charged. As you know, Mr. Speaker, Honorable Koimburi obtained a court order. And Justice Mita also protected a young blogger who was supposed to be charged. So this is an ongoing process, and I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you. Thank you, Cabinet Secretary. Because of time, I would ask the senators who still have questions, maybe you can approach his office and pose the question to him at his office. Thank you, Cabinet Secretary. Honorable Senators, it is now 1:15 p.m. and having concluded the business for which I extended the hours of sitting, pursuant to Standing Order 34-2A, the Senate stands adjourned until later today, Wednesday, 22nd April 2026 at 2:30 p.m.
I think the time has come to an end.